Hi, I'm Tyson.
I'm Colin.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Adam.
And we're the Gamesmiths, and we just got done playing Path's Temple of Ukro'Kaah. And we want to give you a little bit of our experience with it and some of our thoughts. To start us off, Colin's got some stuff.
Well, I really enjoyed this game. It was very enticing, even listening to the rules, looking through some of the things that I had in my hand. It was like Legendary meets Arkham Horror meets, I don't know, like a few different games. It felt like Dungeons and Dragons, and it was a lot of fun. I really was captivated throughout the whole thing. I was engaged, even though we played about 3 hours. I just had a lot of fun with it. My personal character strategy was kind of thrown off a little bit by the weight of how many things could be in the room. Like I was trying to do stuff with summoning, and it didn't have my my minions attack, and it just didn't really pan out the way I wanted to. So that's my only kind of criticism, is that the weight was not as fun for the character I was playing. But I still, even with that being said, I still had fun, and I felt like I was still doing things, and I was buying cards that looked really fun, and I was having to contemplate, what did I want to have in my hand? Did I want the gems? Did I want to go a little more defensive? And there's just so many options. You put so much depth into the game, so much thought. The rules were very well laid out. You just put so much detail that anyone who really wants to sit down and play a long game can have a great experience with their friends and have rotating, work together as a team. I really like those kind of games, and I think this could go really well on the shelf of a gaming store. I would pick this game up, like straight up. We don't have every game that we play that I would say that about, but this one was pretty great. So I think you did a really great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed it. My character suited me. Typically in games like this, I like to just run in and smash things, which was a little bit more Ryan's character slightly than mine. But mine started close enough and had enough potential to attack. I could also move faster, which was nice, and I had decent health. I actually thought my character was really nice. I enjoyed the variety in the cards. I never saw a single duplicate character card, which was nice. I thought the way you purged the hand, it's kind of different for a deck builder. Because it was so easy and at will to purge the hand, but I thought there was so much more going on here that wasn't a problem. It was more of is it safe to get rid of this heal card? Is it safe to get rid of this focus card? And then once I was able to get good enough cards in my hand, I just let them go, which I always love thinning a deck in a deck builder. So I thought that mechanic worked really well. I thought all your mechanics from a design perspective worked really well. I thought most of the balancing was good. I think there's still some areas for improvement there, but not a ton. As far as first impressions of the game, for me, just as it was laying out, the size of the game was really cool. I always love tile laying games, kind of discover the map as you go, so that was really interesting. When I heard it was a kind of dungeon crawler deck builder, I thought, oh, that's cool. Because I love deck builders, but it's all kind of been done before. So to see a deck builder with a new element in it that I enjoy, that I've never seen together before, I'm assuming it's been done, but I've never seen it done before. That was really exciting. And I don't, for two kind of big mechanics to be put together, I don't feel like they clashed at all, which is nice. The deck builder really complemented the dungeon crawler. And I have tons of great things to say about it as well. I think the balancing that I think could be better is I had the strategy to just run in everywhere and attack, and I never took damage, ever. So I got hit once on my shield or armor.
Right. And your minion
And my minion eventually died the last round, but never did I take any damage. And so We did play the first scenario. Maybe it gets harder. Maybe we played something slightly wrong. I don't know. But if we did play that correctly, and if the scenarios don't get much harder, then I think it would be worth making the game just a little bit more challenging. I thought, especially with the support of a team, with healers, with the necromancer who seems to be able to stay at a distance and send in his minions. I think there's plenty of opportunity to work together as a team, to be strategizing, to either revive people, which I wanted to see happen. I thought that would be interesting to see someone get revived. We never saw that. So to either see someone revived or just to really have to work together. The only time I think Tyson ever had to heal anyone is when Colin you guys were kind of, in a good way, exploiting the combination of take damage to health, and you all benefited from that process. So, but it wasn't because anyone ever took damage really until Ryan ran in and slaughtered the boss and took a little. Right. Well, actually took a lot, but still killed the boss in a turn. So, again, really fun game, but I think just making it a little harder would be more interesting. I thought one thing that thematically didn't make a whole lot of sense to me was I don't feel like I took damage because they were rarely attacking me. Like they were doing a move where I either had to discard something or I switched places a lot, or they were defending or healing, and they just didn't attack too. Whereas all of us could attack and then do a couple more special things or multiple attacks. And I just feel like thematically, if these monsters are running around, they're probably going to have a special ability, plus they're going to be attacking. And so I think that would make it quite a bit more challenging. So I don't know if that makes it too hard. But I think getting them to attack more frequently would have made me strategize a little bit more, have to work with the team, whereas I didn't. I just ran off on my own at the end there and could slaughter anything I wanted. By the time I got into a room, I could kill everything and not be afraid to take damage. So I think maybe working with that a little bit to make it a bit more challenging, and then also a little more thematic. I didn't feel like I was being chased by scary monsters in a dungeon. I felt like I was completely powerful and just having fun running room to room smashing monsters, which was also fun. But anyways, great game.
Yeah. I have a few thoughts, but I actually think I'm going to save them, and I want to hear what Ryan says first.
Sure. So first off, I had a lot of fun with it. I've actually thought about this concept before myself and thought it would be a cool game to put together, and I think you've done a really good job of doing that. I was excited to sit down and play it, and it turned out to be a lot of fun. I would agree with Colin as far as like the size mechanic and the weight mechanic. It's just it seems to me like kind of a net. I don't know why you put it in there. I don't know if it was to make it easier or harder, or why that mechanic is there, but it's kind of it's just more confusion. I don't think it added any fun to the game for people. It just kind of added more math in a game that's got a lot of math already. I don't necessarily mean math, but I just mean kind of there's a lot of moving parts already.
And like having to like take back things, like, oh no, I can't do that.
And oh no, can these guys, how much does everything weigh? And it's not that easy to tell. And it's just out of all this stuff, out of everything that I did today, I was having a lot of fun with the game. That was the one thing I didn't have any fun with, and it was just annoying when anybody reminded me that we had to keep that into consideration. To me, the biggest problem with games like this is if there's too much, if the movements are too complicated of what should be like the automated monster movements. And I think you're teetering a little close to the edge on that. I always thought like the Arkham horror games kind of have the same problem where like, all right, blue ones fly and green ones move fast and red ones don't move but do this. Everybody should just move one or two towards the nearest hero. Like keep it simple, allow it like that. I don't know if the weight thing was to keep too many monsters from being in one room, but like that's fine. I would maybe just control I would
Like
maybe
limit it to like 4 bad guys
when
in a
you're-
room
when-
or
yeah,
something.
or when you're spawning, just a cap on number of monsters that can be in there, or a cap on number of allies. But like, oh, this is a 2 and this is a 3 and this is like that's just really confusing, and I don't think it really benefited the game. And then the other thing that you had that was a little confusing was the layout of your rule book. You had a good intro and laid out the components list, but then you just started explaining like parts of the game, and then after you explained like tile placement and a couple other things, then you explained the framework of a turn, and then you started explaining more of those pieces. So you need to move that framework of this is what you do in a turn should be the first thing that you tell someone, and then you explain the individual steps. So you like explain, you started the rule book, you explained step 1, explained step 2, explained step 3, then you gave me a list of steps, and then you explained step 4, explained step 5, explained step 6. That list of steps should have been at the top, and then start explaining steps underneath it. Because there were a couple of things where you just like, you explained how to do the first 2 parts of a turn before you told me what the turn order was, and then after you told me what the turn order was, you explained combat and how to end a turn. So that was super confusing. So I would just look at the order, like your rules are good, they're just not laid out in a very intuitive manner. Give me that full overview ahead of time. Give me that overview. That mission statement was nice. Like, I think we all knew what we were doing as far as like, okay, we're adventurers, adventuring, great, we understand that. Then tell me how a turn works. You're going to purchase, you're going to action, then you're going to resolve and clean up, and then explain those steps to me. But other than that, like I said, this was something I was excited to play from reading the rules, and I think it delivered. And like Colin was saying, this is something that I would, if I bought this today off the shelf at a store, I would be pretty happy with it. But I would probably do some kind of house rules to make it a little more difficult or something like that, because that would probably, I agree with Adam on that. My biggest frustration was the weight system, and my biggest disappointment was it was just a little too easy. And maybe that will scale up in later scenarios, or maybe we were playing something wrong, but those were kind of, other than that, like I said, I would still buy this game as is, and have a lot of fun with it. Because, like, reading at the end of the scenario, adding equipment deck A to the hero deck,
that's cool.
I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I want to know what equipment deck A was and what's in my hero deck now. So overall, I think you do have something really solid, and really good. I would just, like I said, look at the difficulty level, and maybe as kind of some of the clunkier systems get out of there.
I mean, we even made it last an extra turn. So,
Right.
like,
Yeah, I
we
probably
were
did.
into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to mention that this is the first time this has been played 4 players. This is my design.
Oh, was it?
Oh, nice!
So,
Congrats.
I'm very pleased to hear the feedback
Yeah.
that I've received. Anybody watching, the Path's Temple of Ukro'Kaah is how you
Ukro'Kaah.
pronounce it.
Okay.
Is my design. I've been working on it for Smunchy Games. I have changed a few things in this game so that you guys wouldn't pick up on it. The Uwakun King is actually called the Smunchy, and so Smunchy Games is publishing this game,
Gotcha.
etc. So this is my game.
Cool.
I really appreciate what I hear. And like I said, this is the first 4-player playtest of this game, and the difficulty is incredibly easy, and that absolutely has
Yeah.
to change.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to talk about, but overall, I'm very pleased with the feedback that you guys have given.
Good work.
There's a lot of stuff that I would comment
Wow.
on, but I'm not going to get into all of that. And anybody who's watching and wants to ask any of those questions or follow up to some of their feedback, which I think is excellent, I'd be happy to address. But yeah, thanks for playing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Thank you. Good job. Keep up the good work.